Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum, and welcome back. Tom and I are back with another Found Footage Friday after a small break.
Feels like it's been a long time, but I'm not sure if it's been that long, actually.
I don't think it has, but it feels like it's been an eternity because we get into a rhythm of doing them, you know?
I know. Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
The
busy.
holidays we're getting through the holidays and
Yeah.
now it's time to get back to this.
Yes. Everybody's been sick. It's like
Oh,
there's just been
yeah.
so much going on.
Always something this time of year,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. No, you're right. It's like, let's end the year with a bang and everybody just be sick and
Oh,
miserable. Yeah.
oh, we're so close.
I know, so close. Yeah, so I'm gonna sound a little foggy through this because I guess I'm getting over a cold or getting into a cold. I'm not really sure which one, but yeah, we'll get through it.
We will.
This was one that we had talked about. Tom actually brought this one up and was really excited about it. I saw some stuff about it. I was really excited about it. So we're going to be talking the brand new found footage film, Mr. Creep. Yeah, so this one is I rented it because it wasn't streaming anywhere. You had to rent it.
Yep.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, it's very new. Very new.
It's brand new.
Yep.
So it just came out by the time this comes out, it just came out like a month ago.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
Roughly
beginning of December, something
beginning
like
of
that.
December,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
So the synopsis is 4 college students stumble upon a lost video broadcast of a deceased serial killer and try to find its location. This has a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
A 3.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And that voices from the balcony that comes up periodically.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is 3 out of 5. I need to look into that because I wonder if they just do found footage. Because I swear I've never even heard of it until more recently.
We really need to look up whoever
we do.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
You dropped their name a number of times here. So
I know, because I was like, voices from the what?
Sounds very familiar.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. So I want to be clear, like that. I really thought we should watch this based on almost nothing, almost no information.
Right. No, I know. Yeah.
Based on the original like cover or the art poster art, basically.
Yeah, like a clown.
Which looked killer. Just looked awesome.
It did. I agree.
And sometimes, just like with a book, sometimes I do judge a book or a movie based on its cover, and I did for this one.
Yeah.
That's what pulled us in.
Yeah. And then at the time when we went to the IMDb page for it, they're like, I don't know what you'd call it, the like banner picture that's at the top, the bigger one.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
It looked terrifying, like absolutely terrifying. Which was what made me really excited when you sent it to me, because I think you sent me the IMDb link and I went to look at it.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So you want to just jump into our ratings?
Yeah. Let's go for it. Get ready for it.
Because we haven't talked about it, so I'm kind of like,
I know. I haven't seen you post. I don't know if you've even posted any thoughts on this at all. So I'm really curious.
I didn't. No, the only thing I posted was that I was watching it, I think.
Okay.
I try to post when I watch stuff, especially if it's going to be like maybe a mini promotion for upcoming episodes and stuff. So I posted that I was watching it, but I think that's all I said.
Okay. Well, let's hear it. What do you think?
You want me to give my score first?
You go.
Okay. So.
Oh, you have to think about this.
I do. I haven't. Okay. So first of all, it's been weeks since I've seen it, but so I'm trying to think I kind of know what I want to give it. I think this is hard. I'm going to give Mr. Creep a 4 out of 10 tapes.
Okay. I think I predicted you were going to be somewhere in that range.
Yes.
4 out of 10. 4 out of 10.
I think after I watched it, it was lower. And then I thought about some of the concepts and stuff that I did really like. And that kind of made me think, okay, well, they definitely had some redeeming things.
Oh, you originally had it lower than a 4.
Yeah. like after my first watch. But that's why sometimes it's better to like sit and think about movies before you decide what your rating is,
Yeah, oh,
because
yeah.
especially if you hate something.
This is the truth. I almost never have my rating until this moment I'm supposed to give it to you. Yeah.
That's
I
good.
think about it, but I
That's
don't
good.
like
Yeah, yeah.
really commit. And then even
Yeah.
sometimes on the show, I've changed my
I know.
rating
I've
halfway
done that
through.
too.
So I'm a little bit higher than you
Okay.
on this, and I think there's so much. This movie had so much potential, and I think I really wanted to give it
Yes.
a higher number,
Yes.
and then it didn't necessarily materialize how I thought it could have.
Yes.
However, I think I'm still going to give this a six, six tapes out of 10,
Okay.
because I think it did hit a number of found footage notes that I'm looking for, that I
Yeah.
really liked. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it was somewhat true to its title. It was creepy. I would use other word, like really unsettling at points. Sinister, dark. And so I'm going to say 6. Maybe you'll convince me and I'll bring it down a couple of notches, but
That's
that's
never
where
the goal.
yeah, I don't know if I've come down ever in my ratings, but that's definitely
No,
possible.
I think we've both gone up.
Up, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay, so like unspoiled thoughts. Like
Did you give like a synopsis yet? Did you give the
I did with
oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Finding it was really vague.
So unspoiled thoughts. That's what
Yeah.
you're looking for?
We're so out of practice.
Unspoiled. You go first.
Okay. I liked the serial killer aspect. I thought that was really good. I liked it.
That's where the potential was, right?
Yes.
Where that was. Yep.
Yes. And I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. It's a pretty grotesque one. It's called Fear.com. Have you ever seen that?
I think I have seen that, actually. Yeah.
I saw it when I was way too young to be watching that movie. But so I like these takes on this, like I don't know what you'd call it, like something living on through technology, like this, like you watch this tape, you're going to die in 7 days. If you like, I like stuff like that. I think the use of technology in these sort of scenarios is really appealing to me. So I really liked the uses of the technology. I think my weaknesses were honestly the acting and the characters. I wasn't and I think you know this about me by now, but like I have to be invested. Otherwise, it doesn't get me uncomfortable. It doesn't make me unsettled. It doesn't make me scared or anything, because I don't care about what happens to the characters.
What about the acting, though, of the main bad guy, whatever he was? You didn't think that was like really unsettling, like the how the movie opens, like with him sitting in front of the camera?
So I think the weakness there wasn't his acting; it was the writing.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think overall, I think his presence was effective, but once he started talking, I was like, I thought it felt very juvenile to me. Like the writing part of what he said didn't sound like some really terrifyingly dark murderer person. Like, I don't know, like none of that stuff like came to mind for me.
Yeah, maybe it was the writing. I don't know, like, but when he first opened his mouth, I got the chills. Like I know it just hit me differently, I think, but I thought that opening shot,
I did like the opening,
was really effective, and I thought he was really effective.
I think his demeanor, the sound of his voice, I think those things work. But I think as we go through the movie and we get the other clips of him talking and stuff, it just like it lost its magic for me. But I don't think it was a performance issue. I think it was what they wrote for him to say. That wasn't like,
that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think a lot of my hangups with this movie are that I was confused. And I feel like I say this all the time. I feel like I'm always confused and you never are. But like, I feel like, I know, seriously, I feel like I'm like, I didn't understand that at the end, but I didn't, I'm not sure that I did understand what exactly was happening. Without spoiling, I don't want to go there yet, but I was confused by, sort of the big picture of this movie. Um, you weren't.
No, you're not really alone in that.
Okay.
I think, okay, so one of the other things that kind of like bugged me, because I think some movies, some found footage movies do this and it works really well. The story and the back and forths are very jumbled. And I think,
Mhm.
sometimes that works and sometimes it can be executed in a way where you can still follow along and you still know what's going on. But
Yeah.
this is very disjointed pretty
Very.
regularly as far
Yeah.
as our story building, our momentum, and what's happening. It's
Sure.
very jarringly like interrupted, like off and on with different things. And I think that is part of why I also didn't really get like the bigger picture.
I could see that. Yeah. I mean, I had specific issues with the storytelling and the
Yeah,
pacing, and
yeah,
you know, the way the film started.
yeah,
I thought it was a good. It was good build up. It was slow. We got a lot of exposition, and
yeah,
then suddenly, like everything happened in 5 seconds, and
yep,
I was lost. And
yeah.
it didn't really match the feel or the pacing of the beginning, in my opinion.
I agree.
Without saying exactly what I'm referring to.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. I think because and that's one of the things that's like really common in found footage is slow build up to this like crazy. But again, there's an
That's
art
true.
to it. Like it
Yeah.
has to be done in a certain way. And again, I think that some of the breakups in between things, I think I wouldn't have minded as much if I had cared about the characters. I don't know why. I just didn't connect to them or like their like going into it with them like wanting to find out this information and they're going in and they're felt like it just I don't
Right.
know. I think it just felt too generic maybe. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely can see that. Um, yeah. I felt like when the movie started, it had a lot of things that we sometimes talk about that we really like the lore and the.
Yes.
I loved
Yes.
that, and I was
Yep.
really excited for
Yep.
where maybe I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I was really confused, as I said, and wondering if this was a supernatural thing, if this was a serial killer thing, what exactly was going on. And I will explain more. But
When we
I
get
was,
into yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean I think even though you've rated it higher, I feel like we're still on a lot of the same page
okay.
as
Uh,
far as like, things we didn't care
Full
for.
disclosure, I was very sick when I watched this movie, and I had like a really high fever, and so it's possible I wouldn't have been confused. It's possible I would have loved this movie. It's possible I would have hated this movie. But I kind of was like, yeah, that was pretty good. Could have been better, but maybe that's where the six comes in. There's a blame it on the fever or something.
Maybe. I was not sick when I watched it, but I
Maybe you
feel
should have
like
been.
maybe I should have been. That's awful.
I
I
know.
think I think it's I and it sucks because, we've given other movies like lower ratings that we genuinely loved the concept
Like,
or like
can you name one?
yeah, the Barbados Project.
Oh yeah,
I
similar.
mean, like that
Love
was
the.
one that just and it's so frustrating. It's like I know this sounds like such like a crybaby thing, but like it's frustrating as a viewer to love concepts that just aren't put into use, like in a way that makes them like really great because this was unique. It genuinely is a unique film, and I think like
Yep.
it's just it's a hard like I don't know. It's these things that it did are very found footage things, but they were not done as artfully as they are in other movies, and that made it a lower, a lower grade for me.
Fair. Very fair. Very
Yeah.
fair. Yep.
So,
Well,
want to jump into
spoil.
spoilers?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, okay. I'm trying to think of where I want to start. Okay, so the doll. Let's talk about the doll for a minute.
Oh, did you get like a Saw vibe?
Yes!
Like
Billy,
Jigsaw?
I was gonna say I was gonna say the Billy doll. That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, he looked like that doll.
Yeah.
And again, like there was the serial killer like connection. The movie wasn't Saw really in any other way, but that was sort of a weird element. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and so the doll is what was in that picture that had me so enticed to see the movie. But I didn't realize in the picture that it was a doll. I thought it was a person.
Is that what the original picture was? It was of the doll?
It's the part where the doll is laying on the ground next to the cell door or whatever.
Oh,
or maybe I think it's a cell
yeah.
door. Yeah. Because all I could picture was that being a person and them like tilting their head or getting up and moving. And it was so unsettling. But then it ended up being a doll. And I was like, dang, like, and dolls work. I don't mean that they don't, but I felt like the doll like didn't work in this. Like it felt like such a
it was part of what confused me. And so so like I just like now I can say like what I was confused about was like I didn't know if this serial killer was actually still alive and wasn't dead like they thought or if this was in fact a paranormal or supernatural entity that was moving this doll around and stalking these people. I actually still am not sure which it was supposed to be. Are you?
I mean, I think if I had to take a random guess based on the fact that they even put in the synopsis that the serial killer is dead, I would say it is supposed to be supernatural. But the problem again is that the storytelling does not solidify any part of it. Because to me, what also I thought could also be like going on was his connections to the doll. Like, so like, okay. So like if he was still alive, if the serial killer was still alive, it could be that was the case, but there was also still this supernatural element to it. But I'm not sure what part it was supposed to lean more towards. I couldn't really tell, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And again, high fever and all, who knows? But like, yeah, I was confused about that. I think the whole movie, I thought that this guy actually wasn't dead.
Okay.
Yeah, and that he was like hiding out in the psych ward or in this cabin out in the woods or wherever they were. But then the doll was like bouncing around from one spot to another, and I was like, okay, maybe it's a ghost. I don't know. Haunting him. So it was a little bit confusing.
You know what I did really like though? I did really like the scene with the old lady.
Which scene was that?
Where they go to this old lady and she's like telling them about the guy that was the serial killer.
Oh yes. Yep.
And she goes like ham on them and she like tries to stab one of
yes.
That was really crazy. I mean, okay, so like
yes, that was cool. I like that. Yes.
I really liked that part. I thought that was some of the better acting from our main cast of folks.
When they drive away and she's like standing there on the stairs, like
so creepy.
That like I was like, is this his mom? Is this
like what is the deal
a ghost?
Here? Yeah.
I guess it was a ghost or a possessed woman. I don't know. I'm not sure. These are the failings of this movie, I guess.
Well, and I kind of took it as this person who knew him, but maybe had been like, if you kind of go the supernatural route, like this concept that like, it kind of makes me think of Halloween, how like, evil can like go into like other people and like affect other people. And like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really liked that scene. That was one of the strongest as far as like, I didn't see it coming. It really caught me off guard. The end shot, like you're talking about, where you see her, really made me like, oh, I don't like that. Like that
Yeah.
was good. That was
I mean,
really good.
I think the whole movie, I was also thinking like,
Mhm.
are one of these guys actually, the killer?
I thought that too.
Yeah.
I thought that too.
There were just a couple of moments that made you think that was a possibility.
Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah.
materialize at all. Unfortunately, I think that would have been a pretty cool, although pretty expected twist. It didn't happen. So, um,
I think with that, it would have been cool to see like a cult kind of thing, like a
yeah,
follower of the serial killer that's not alive anymore,
it's
staging these events and
is
making
it
these
sort of
things.
like Scream, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That would have been like
Yeah.
Ghostface, sort of.
Yeah.
But I wondered if that's where it was going.
Yeah. I know. I had the same thought. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but you're right. There wasn't a lot of um time to get like attached to the characters or like okay at the beginning the build they're these college kids as 4 college
Oh,
kids and
yeah.
although their age ranges were all over the place and like I'm 20 years old and I'm almost 40 it was
Yeah. It was
which I
strange.
guess is totally yeah I mean but possible but like they didn't seem like they were that far apart age wise.
Yeah.
None of them have like any jobs and they're thinking this will be the big break this story. One of them is like I mean a little bit over the top as far as her obsession with serial killers and
Yeah.
she has like a shrine for serial killers which
It's,
make you question
yeah.
her. um
Yeah.
and then so like that whole buildup was like I thought it was a great setup.
Yeah.
They're gonna go and try to find or they find these tapes actually. They break into, the old psych ward that housed this serial killer and they find his tapes. And that was all great. But like
Yeah.
even
No
then,
problem.
like immediately they get to this psych ward and they didn't like take the opportunity to slowly build up the suspense there. They
No,
walk
it
in
was
and
just like,
immediately she disappears. She's trapped in a jail cell. The doll is already there,
it's
and
too
it was
much.
like all like a flood all at once,
It's too
and
much.
it
Yep.
was too much. And
Yep.
then like there wasn't much after that either. It was like that happened, and then they're like in the woods, and there's a cabin, and like I don't know. It was um the best part. Am I like that scene with the old woman, but the beginning of the movie, generally
Mhm.
speaking, was stronger than
I agree.
all the action that happened after that.
Yeah,
And
and I
short lived
think
as well.
I think what else like didn't help with the second half of it is everything that happens off camera. So like
Yeah.
the part that you're talking about when they're like running around in the woods or wherever whatever is going on, like nothing that happens, we don't see almost anything that happens to them. It's all just this like crazy camera slide of the face shots or
Screaming, which is a lot of found footage, right?
it
Like,
is, but it was like, but to me, like, no, it's just such a backwards thing for me to say because I'm normally complaining about seeing too much. But the fact that we didn't see anything gave me nothing to be afraid of because we already only had the old woman, at least for me personally, like as far as scares, the old woman scene or the older woman scene was the only one that got to me. The
yeah,
gel scene didn't freak me out. The doll didn't make me uncomfortable. The weird video clips that came in that reminded me of that movie with Jennifer Lopez, The Cell. Like I was
oh
like,
yeah.
what is like with the dinner and I'm like, none
And
of that stuff worked.
what happened was so that there's that the girl who was like suddenly disappeared and they couldn't reach her and like she
Oh,
was gone for like 2 days and then they found her like in the woods. Like what happened to her? How did she get there? Was she kidnapped? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like
yeah, I don't know.
the one who was like obsessed with serial killers. Like
Yeah, I don't
she
know.
yeah,
See,
that
that
was
would have been another really great way to have incorporated the cult thing. Like
yeah.
they could have easily have ran with that part and made it like she was gone to be like I don't know. Like, I just think, yeah, I don't know. It was too much. It's because that's the other thing is like, there's not a lot of, like, there's a lot of stuff left unanswered
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
also isn't just left unanswered in an unsettling way, but is left unanswered in like a frustrating way because it's confusing.
Like if it had been, if they'd gone the cult way, or if they'd gone just like even a single person, like a deranged fan of this,
Yeah.
like you'd have like people horror or serial killer found
Yep.
footage, as we've talked about. But I'm not even sure like how we would classify, our system of found
I
footage
know our
classification.
genres.
Yes, our subgenres of found footage. Like, what would you label this as?
I don't know because I'm still not entirely sure if it's supernatural or not.
I know. It definitely was screaming in the woods found footage, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
Blair Witch or Cronewood even. It was just sort of just
No.
screaming in the dark, which is sort of a hallmark of, I think, and even though I gave this a 6, I would say that's sort of like a hallmark of lesser found footage films or like lower budget found footage films. It's just
Yeah.
the camera, like a lot of high school students could make that, running through the
Yeah.
woods with the shaky camera screaming. We did it for the opening of this of this
We
show
did.
in like
Yeah.
5 seconds. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I redid mine a few times, but yeah.
I think I did mine in one take. So
Yeah, you're a better actor than me. I was like, that looks dumb. Let me redo it. And then I'm like low key scared of closets. So like the whole time I was doing it in the closet, I
yeah.
was like, what if something really happens to me? This is how this goes, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, question about, so like the guy, which again, like there was good lore here, the main villain or
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah.
He had a clown mask like fused to his face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in real life, if that had happened, I feel like it wouldn't have remained fused to his face, right? The hospital would have removed it in one
Yeah.
way or another. They would have left it on forever.
And just said,
Um,
sorry, we give up.
They also didn't explain how he died, did they? No.
I don't think so.
I don't think he was executed or anything like
There's
that.
that weird, he says, I'm trying to remember. I feel like there's like a bit, it's like one of the last scenes with him talking at that table, like towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That I kind of got the impression that it was like a self-sacrifice to maybe continue to live on through.
The
But I
doll.
don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know.
Yeah, like was the doll possessed?
I had to come up with my own ideas. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Which
not sure.
you don't want. I think it's okay to have people guessing at the end
Yeah.
of a movie, at the end of a
Yeah.
found footage horror movie. I don't know that like you want them guessing so much that they literally are so confused and don't understand what happened.
Or like
Which
they have to
sort of,
make their own movie.
yeah, right. Or they have to or what if they guess wrong, like really wrong, which we may be doing right here. So
Well,
I
we
think there was
talked
just
about
too
that
much.
in what was that other movie we just did? Project Skyquake. We were like, we don't know if
Yeah,
these theories are even right because there was a lot left unanswered.
yeah,
This is similar. I do think the general, thinking about it and just thinking of other things I have seen, I do think it's like attempting to do this live on through technology thing, like live on through the tapes, live on through
yeah,
like whatever. But it kind of got lost, and I'm not really sure if I'm getting the right thing. If I'm not really sure.
yeah. I do really. I want to see more found footage, so that's sort of like I liked that they attempted to make a found footage film about a serial killer.
Yeah, I loved that. That was a very big strength.
Yeah, and it was a small town sort of like mystery, and I really
Yeah.
like that. I'd like to see more of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That has like that small town sort of feel has worked. I mean, obviously, like,
yeah, no,
you
I
know,
totally agree. Yeah.
in some of films of this genre before, and so
Yeah.
like I just feel like it had a lot of potential, and it was a really great idea.
Hmm.
And I think I liked more about it than you did,
Yeah.
because I do think I genuinely was creeped out by certain parts of it,
Yeah.
but not enough of it. Like moments, I was creeped out
Yeah.
by it in this movie.
Yeah.
So I think if it had been just available on Tubi for free, or
Yeah.
maybe I'd be telling everyone right now this is totally worth you going and watching. I mean, wait till it comes out on Tubi. If I were you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's available for renting, but it's like $4.
Yeah.
And just given the fact that we've gotten so many new found footage things that are readily streaming, it is kind of a disappointment because it's
I'll,
like, but I
I would,
don't know what goes into that. So,
yeah. Although, like back in the day, when I was renting terrible horror movies from the video rental place, most of them were terrible, and I was paying money every week to rent those. So and this was before streaming, but I would, if you don't care, if you're just like, I want to watch a bad horror movie, then this could definitely be for you. But I still I enjoyed parts of it. Maybe my
I,
6 is too high. I don't know, but I enjoyed it.
I think it's hard because the last one we did was so good. That's
It was.
another thing. I try to go into them not thinking about the show. I try to go into them not thinking about Found Footage Fridays and just experience the movie. But the last movie we did before this one was the
Oh, Horror in
horror
the
in
High
the high
Desert,
desert, and you're
which
just like
was which was great.
so good. And so then it's like I go into this one and I'm like clean slate, but in the back of my mind I'm like, we just watched this really good one. It's hard, to
Well,
separate.
that's what this is, though. Right? We are watching. We're attempting to watch all the found footage films, basically, and so
Yeah.
you can't help but line them all up and
And think
compare them to
about
the
them.
ones you liked, and that's why I consider us experts on this, because we are doing exactly that.
Yeah.
We have more, to compare to than
Yeah.
the
No, you're
average
right.
viewer. An average viewer might not watch this movie and you
Yeah.
know think some of the things we are. So, or maybe then again they would. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Mi-
Man.
Mr. Creep.
Hmm.
Yeah,
2022. New found footage.
newfound footage. We're always looking for newfound footage. So,
Yes.
um, I don't know what's next. I don't know if anyone has any great suggestions, but please let us know. We're on the hunt.
Yeah. Something obscure and different and never heard of would be good too.
Like Horror in the High Desert.
Some of these I
I
don't
want
know.
another one of those.
So I just did my top 10 list for the year for horror, and I did 5 honorable mentions that were first watches for the year, but that actually came out another year. And Savage Land made that list. I
Oh,
still
of
don't know
course.
how
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
God, that one was so good. But yes, if you know found footage stuff that we have not talked about or mentioned, haven't whatever, definitely let us know in the comments because we do. I mean, we read them.
Absolutely.
I screenshot the mean ones and send them to Tom.
There've been a few. There've been a few.
You. That's how you know you made it, Tom.
We can't have everyone loving us, right?
Yeah. So
Just
yes,
like we don't love all the movies we watch. In fact, I would say at least half of them we don't. No, not half of them, but a third of them we don't like.
I think it is a third for everything. I think we have like a third that we really love, a third
Yeah,
that's like mediocre and like middle ground, and then a third that's like meh.
yeah. I mean, and again, this one for me is in the me is a mediocre. Is a
Mine's
mediocre.
pretty close to that. I would say that too.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's our thoughts on Mr. Creep.
There's tons more found footage Fridays coming at you guys in the new year. So
Yeah.
Keep tuning in.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Enjoy the
Happy
weekend.
New Year, everybody.
Yep. And Tom and I will be back next Friday.
See you then.